But this is a prime example that this shirt, this exact same shirt, sold on eBay 3 weeks ago for one price, and then I sell it 3 weeks later for 3 times the price that it initially sold for on eBay. And here we are on the 16th, on Friday. We got a resolution to it, and I was officially informed online that if I would have known you guys would have really, really enjoyed my 1-year anniversary video, I would have probably done my 1-year anniversary a lot sooner. Welcome back, everybody, and specifically, welcome to the 200 new subscribers we have on this channel from last week. I've got to be honest with you, I was completely surprised by the response to my 1-year episode. For me, a little channel like mine, that video went very viral. Currently, it's sitting at 4,000 views, 200 new subscribers, a slew of comments, a slew of likes. It's my most viewed episode ever since my very first episode ever, and humbly I say thank you. Since I've been monetized, this is my biggest episode, so this is going to be a very interesting month when it comes to the YouTube monetization, so you're not going to want to miss next month's first episode where we go over the YouTube numbers, because this week has been really good to me, and that doesn't happen without you guys hitting the subscribe button. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Also, there must be something with companies that advertise on YouTube that have algorithms running for when somebody's content does go off, because this week I did get 3 more brand offers. Now, I'm not going to talk about any of those brand offers that I received. For those who are new here and don't know, I have been offered brand deals in the past. I've turned every single one of them down. I've turned down 7 before this week that I got offered 3 this week. Hopefully, one of them really interests me and I can get behind and actually bring to you guys. And I hope you guys know that I would never bring you something that I would never use myself personally, and I don't want to just sell you guys junk. But again, that doesn't happen without you guys watching my content. So for that to even be an opportunity of another source of income, I humbly once again thank you guys so much for tuning in every week and watching my content. Moving on, we also had a lot of stuff that happened this week. It was Mother's Day. Thank you to everybody who wished my mother a happy Mother's Day in the comments. I hope you all had a great Mother's Day with your mothers, and if you are a mother, I hope your kids treated you like the queens you are. Moving on, though, this week we saw a conclusion to a couple of our stories. Specifically, the USPS claim has officially been closed, and we have a final result, and I will get to that later on once we get through the top 10. Also this week, we have a conclusion to the baseball glove returned, where they mistakenly sent me a shirt. We have a conclusion to that story too, so we'll get on all that as the episode goes on. This week has been a phenomenal week for me. I'm really excited at all the different opportunities that are presenting themselves, and everything is going really good in my personal life right now. So for that, I am extremely thankful. Also, this week, it's currently Sunday morning and it's 10 a.m. on the dot, and I haven't got any sales yet. So if historical trends show true, with Sunday leading the way, this usually means I'm going to have a slow week. So make sure you tune in next week to see if the prediction of Sundays determining how the week is going to go is the right way to go. But without further ado, let's jump into the numbers. And as you can see, last Sunday, which was Mother's Day, was an absolute banger of a day. It started off what led to be a great week. But if you notice, I also had a very strong Monday, which is uncommon for me. And then Tuesday came, and Tuesday completely tanked off, and my sales have been not the greatest since Tuesday. Now, why am I putting a lot of emphasis on Tuesday? Because guess what happened on Tuesday? A return was opened and sent in the mail to me, and it was sent that day. So it was a pair of sunglasses, and the reason for return was they just didn't like them. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. They're getting shipped back. But if I get these sunglasses back and I refund the money and all of a sudden my sales shoot through the roof, I think I'm going to create my own internal policy that if a return is less than $20, I'm just going to refund the money and not even have them send it back to me. Because if the conspiracy that Lone Star Mulligan is the one who implanted in my brain is true, where while a return is open, it slows your sales down. Like I would just assume refund the money, not get the product back, and go back to having my normal sales. Because as soon as Tuesday hit, it gets in your head like you feel you're doing something wrong when you're just doing everything the normal right way, and automatically your sales get throttled. So we've seen this in the past. If I refund this pair of sunglasses and my sales start going through the roof in the future, if an item is $20 or less, I'm just going to refund it and tell them not to ship it back, and I'll just eat the loss so I can have my sales so my sales don't take a dip. Because I truly do believe there is something in the eBay algorithm that says, oh, you have a return open and it's in the mail of a return. Well, we got to throttle your sales until we know you do the right thing and refund the customer. Like that's what it feels like it is. It feels like it's eBay holding it over you, like, until you refund the customer, we're not going to make you as visible as we could. And that's what it feels like. We'll see how things play out. If my sales rebound hard as soon as I get this item back in the mail and I refund it, I'm creating the new internal policy. If it's under $20, just refund it. I don't even care if you send it back to me. If they send it back to me, great. If they don't, that's fine too. But I'm just going to refund it from the beginning to close the case so my sales don't take a dip. Anyway, moving on, we had a gross sales week of $668 with a net sales of $364. Again, last Sunday was the best day of the week, coming in with a $272 gross day and $144.96 net day. Average gross per sale was $23.03. Average net per sale was $12.56. My net profit margin for the week was 55%, which is an average net profit margin per sale of 52%. No shock and awe to the top 10 net returns by sources. Sunglasses, again, still holding on to the number one spot and strongly holding on to the number one spot. I think I sold probably 18 pair of sunglasses alone this week. No, it would have been less than that. 14 pair of sunglasses, but that's still a lot of sunglasses. It's an average of 2 per day for the week. And then we have 2 Goodwills that are taking the second and third spot, remotes behind that, and then a mixture. Ooh, one thing, 2 down from estate sales is a St. Vincent store. If you guys remember last week or the week before, it was last week. Last week's episode, I talked about how I was profitable from every single place I purchased, except for one where I was $9 in the hole. This one right here, this St. Vincent's, was that store. So I only bought 4 items ever from that St. Vincent's. I now sold one of the items for $20. So I'm now like $9.97 in the positive on that. So now every single store I've ever purchased something from, I am profitable from every single purchase location since I've started eBay reselling. Just over a year, but again, I've only been to this St. Vincent's one time. I did go sourcing this week. I just haven't listed any of the new inventory yet. The thing with my parents moving and them getting rid of a lot of stuff, I don't have to source for a lot of hard goods. And then, of course, I have my own sunglasses supplier, and then remotes I get from everywhere else. So now I only had to source for shirts, and as you can see, I've got a massive stack of men's shirts. And this week, going out sourcing, it was one of those weeks where, like, when I went out, because normally when you go through shirts, you have to go through hundreds and hundreds of shirts just to find 2 good ones. I felt like I was pulling gold every 5 or 6 shirts as I was flipping through them in every store I went to. Like this week, I don't know if it was people spring cleaning their closets out and donating to the thrift stores, but this week I got a bunch of great high quality shirts that I am excited to list. Cost of goods sold this week was $55.36. I paid eBay total of $98.38 in marketplace fees, and I spent $150 on shipping labels this week. I did meet my goal this week of 57 new listings. I actually had one day where I listed 9 items instead of 8, which I can even talk about that item because that item's an interesting item. It's the most expensive item I ever listed, and it's got a great personal family story. I also had a total of 29 sales this week, which is right around my average of 30 sales a week, so no complaints there. As you can see, last Sunday we had 12 sales on Sunday alone, so we started off strong. Monday, we had a very good Monday for me at 5 sales, and then as soon as that return was open on Tuesday morning, my sales have just kind of flourished out there, having one five item day on Friday, and they were all 5 sunglasses that I sold on Friday. Average time to list something in my store this week was 1 month. Average time to sell something in my store this week was 4 months. My return on investment for the week was 658%, and my average return on investment per sale was 760%. Jumping into the top 10, number 10 is this brand new sealed Dish Network 54.1 voice remote. I picked this remote up on eBay for $1.02. It sold on eBay for $22.65. That was $17 for the remote, $5.65 for the shipping. The actual cost to ship this item was $4.57. That provided me a net return of $13.92, which was a 1,365% return on investment and a 61% net profit margin. Number 9, sale of the week. Pair of sunglasses in the top 10, which is an oddity. And these new with tags: Foster's Grant, Ironman, Iron Flex sunglasses, IF 2006. I picked these sunglasses up on eBay for $1.12. They sold on eBay for $23.28. That's $17.58 for the sunglasses, $5.70 for the shipping. The actual cost to ship this item was $4.25. That provided me a net return of $14.16, which was a 1,264% return on investment and a 61% net profit margin. Number 8 sale of the week is an item that I've held on to for the better part of the last year. Are these Under Armour UA Leadoff Low RM men's baseball cleats. I picked these up from a local St. Vincent's for $3.42. They sold on eBay for $29.79. That was $17.49 for the shoes, $12.30 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $7.36. That provided me a net return of $15.08, which was a 441% return on investment and a 51% net profit margin. Number 7 sale of the week, and this is the item that made me profitable in my last location. It's these pair of John Blair men's 3XL 50x30 polyester blue stretch retro dad pants. Like I said, I picked these pants up from a St. Vincent de Paul's for $3. They sold on eBay for $30.30, which was $18 for the pants, $12.30 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $7.36. That provided me a net return of $15.95, which was a return of investment of 532% and a net profit margin of 53%. Number 6 sale of the week are these Foster's Grant FGLP 23-1011 Tortoise polarized sunglasses. Picked these sunglasses up on eBay for $1.12. Sold them on eBay for $26.73. That was $20.91 for the sunglasses, $5.75 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $4.33, which provided me a net return of $17.04 and a return of investment of 1,521% and a 64% net profit margin. All right, before we get into the number 5, let's have a conversation because we have a conclusion to our story. And I just wanted to break up the top 10. Actually, it just worked out the way it did. As most of you know from my episode 2 weeks ago, I had to deal with the return of a baseball glove that I sold to a customer. And they opened up a return, wanted to return the baseball glove because it didn't fit their child's hand. No big deal. Accept the return, send it back, and I will refund you your money. When I received the item back, I could tell before I even opened it, it was not a baseball glove, it was a shirt. So I didn't even open the package. I immediately called eBay, talked to eBay. eBay told me to open the package, document that it was not a shirt, file a claim in the return to leave the return open, stating you didn't get the item back. eBay resolved it. They paid the customer out of their pocket. They paid me the money that was owed for everything. So it was a wash. eBay was the one who lost the money in the deal, and they called it square. Now, as many of you know, I was still left holding on to that shirt. And I asked you guys for what would you do with the shirt, and a lot of people commented with a lot of great ideas, but the overwhelming majority of comments told me to keep it and sell it, which was kind of where I was leaning to. But I wanted to give the person a chance to see if they wanted the shirt back. So I messaged them and I said, hey, I know you got, eBay told me you got paid for the whole transaction, and they confirmed. They said yes. I said, okay, Would you like the shirt back? If so, can we work out a thing where you want the shirt back, or do you just want me to keep it and we'll call it a wash? They never responded back to me. And as I told you guys in that episode, if it made it till last Friday, not this Friday that just happened, but the Friday before, and they did not respond to me, I was going to assume that they abandoned the shirt. So Friday came, and I put the shirt in my rotation of inventory to be pictured and listed. And when listing it, I was like, I'm betting the person sold this shirt on eBay, and I'm betting I could probably find the original listing for this shirt to build my listing on. So I went looking for it, and I found the original listing, and I found what they sold it for in product research or Terapeak if you're an old timer. If you guys remember when I initially discussed the shirt, I said this. Now, bear in mind, this is absolutely a nice shirt. It is a really, really nice shirt. Like, I could probably get $20 for this shirt. Okay, so after I said that, then I saw what this shirt sold for, which was a lot less than that price. So I was like, okay, in the listing, and I'm not saying anything negative, so if this person who happens to watch this episode, you run your business, this is the way you run your business. For me, the listing was not the best listing in the world. So I started from scratch, built a brand new listing, and listed the item. And it only took a couple days, and it sold, and it currently holds the number 5 spot on this week's top 10. It's this Polo Ralph Lauren men's large button-down short sleeve shirt, yellow, blue, and red plaid. As you guys know, this item was a return item. It cost me $0. It sold on eBay for $28.78. That's $22.48 for the shirt, $6.30 for the shipping. The actual cost to ship this item was $4.57. That provided me a net return of $20.32, which was an infinite return on investment and a 71% net profit margin. And I really just want to quickly talk about this shirt and an example of this shirt selling. So this was a shirt when I got it from return, but when I looked up and saw the original listing for which it sold, which was a fraction of what I sold it for. One of the things I noticed, about the listing were okay images. The images weren't bad, they weren't great. The title was not very descriptive of a title. And I think I've never talked about this before with you guys. I have standardized all my normal items, so shirts and clothes, really, all clothes, really, sunglasses and remotes. I now have a standard title that I do for all 3 of those categories. And for anything that is clothing, I start off with the brand name. So whatever the brand name is in this scenario, it was Polo by Ralph Lauren. If it's Wrangler, whatever the brand name, that's the very first thing in the word. Next, gender, men's or women's. So brand, gender, men's or women's, size. Small, medium, extra large. If it's a 32-inch inseam, that's what comes next in the title. After that, what it is. If there's a model to it, if it's an Oxford button-down, whatever the actual item is, what type it is. Then I do the color of the item, and then I do the pattern of the item. And if there's any room, then I throw in keywords. That's how I run clothes. I have found that to be the most effective. There are other creators on YouTube who have great advice on this. And I'll be honest, I'll tell you, I took J-Ride's way of doing titles, and I just kind of put my own spin on it and did my own. When I first started selling on eBay, my titles were atrocious. And if you go back, there's still items for sale on my store that have horrible titles. Actually, if you go back and look at the cleats I sold this week, it was written in all caps. I hate all caps listings, like where the title is in all caps. For me, the first letter of every word is capitalized. That's how I do it now. When I first started off, I was just stealing somebody else's listing and not even changing it, just going through making sure all the information was correct and posting it. Now, I would say 80% of the time, I basically start from scratch and do every listing from scratch myself, and I can knock out a listing in like a minute and a half, 2 minutes from scratch, just because I'm so used to, okay, I know what this is and I know what buttons to press. But this is a prime example that this shirt, this exact same shirt, sold on eBay 3 weeks ago for one price, and then I sell it 3 weeks later for 3 times the price that it initially sold for on eBay. And the only difference were the listings and how the listings were filled out. Another big thing in my listings that I truly preach that is a big deal is actually filling out item specifics. If you ever notice when you're going through and listing, and if you do use somebody else's template to start from, I'm learning nobody fills out item specifics. And I feel like I'm in categories where I'm making sales of people who've been doing this a lot longer. And the only true difference between my listings is I feel I have better titles and I feel my item specifics are filled out. I truly think item specifics are huge in the search and promotion of the algorithm promoting that item for sale. So my recommendation is always fill out as many item specifics as you can. And if you ever take somebody's listing to build on it, make sure that the item specifics are correct for the product you're selling. I can't tell you how many times I have gone into somebody's to list it and like their title says extra large, and then reading the item specifics, it says size 3 extra large in the item specifics. Just make sure you're paying attention and you're doing those things. And if you're doing those things diligently and correctly, you will make the sales on them. Look at it. And right now I need to go back and I need to change the titles on like my first 2 months, the items that are still from my first 2 months of selling, because they are terrible. So don't think I'm picking on other people. I was bad at it too. It's just one of those things you learn as you evolve in the business, is how to make better titles for everything. Number 4 is this vintage windswept men's 2 extra large Hawaiian shirt, floral palm pattern. I picked this shirt up from a local Goodwill for $2.89. It sold on eBay for $32.08. That was $24.98 for the shirt, $7.10 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $5.31. That provided me a net return of $19.59, which is a 678% return on investment and a 61% net profit margin. Number 3 sale of the week. I've had this item, I've been holding on to this item for over a year. It's this Armark vintage pair of Black Swan vases, 8 inches tall, new in the original box, and they were from the 70s. And I picked them up for $2 at the estate sale. They sold on eBay for $35.05, which was $18.50 for the vases and $16.55 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship was $7.79. That provided me a net return of $2.65, which was a 1,033% return on investment and a 59% profit margin. Number 2 sale of the week is this Patriot indoor lighting 2-pack flush mount oil rub bronze finish. I picked this up at a Goodwill for $3.49, and it was brand new, still factory sealed, like it had never been opened. And I picked it up for $3.49. This sold on eBay for $44.98, which is $29.98 for the light fixtures and $15 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $7.91. That provided me a net return of $27.61, which was a 791% return on investment and a 61% net profit margin. And last but not least, the number 1 sale of the week, and a category I have been slowly breaking into. And when I first started off, I was like, I never want to sell shoes on eBay. And now I'm kind of going out of my way to always find shoes to sell on eBay. It's these Asics men's 9.5 gel Excite Trail 10, 11 Bravo, 194 dark gray and red. I picked these up at a local Goodwill for $3.04, and they sold on eBay for $60.98. That was $50.98 for the shoes, $10 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $8.98. That provided me a net return of $39.36, which was a 1,295% return on investment and a 65% net profit margin. Like I said, when I first started off, I did not want to sell shoes, and the few shoes I did buy when I first started off were very, very used, and I had to do a lot of work to clean them up. So now my new plan with this, I'm not buying shoes a lot. Like, I don't buy them in bulk, but what I do is whenever I find a pair of shoes in a thrift store that are either brand new or are almost brand new, like lightly used, those are the only 2 types of shoes I will buy. Because in my Goodwills, I find a lot of shoes that are brand new with the tag still on them, or they've been used like 1 or 2 times. But I am no longer going to buy, unless it's in a very, very expensive pair of shoes that if I think I could wash them up and they would make me like $150, I would never buy heavily used shoes. But I will always pick up New Balance, Asics, any kind of running shoes that are brand new, because they sell really quick. They have for me. And I really like the category of shoes. And that concludes our top 10 sales of the week. This week, we did have the resolution to the UPS claim for the George Lowe picture. For those who are new here and don't know what I'm talking about, on March 16th, I sent a autographed picture of George Lowe to a customer. When it got to the customer, the package was absolutely destroyed. And I took a lot of precaution to make sure this picture was good, and the package itself was just completely destroyed. I opened up a claim. It took them a month to give me a result on the claim, and they denied it due to insufficient proof of purchase, because I gave them a receipt that did not have the buyer's name and address. It only had my name and address, the product details, and the amount of the sale. So I went in, I created a new receipt with the buyer's information, my information, item description, sent it in, and I appealed that decision. And here we are on the 16th, on Friday. We got a resolution to it, and I was officially informed online that it is being paid out to me. However, it doesn't tell me any of the details. It says I'm going to get my approval letter here in the mail, so I'm waiting for that to come now. But I put the claim in for $34.98, which was the total amount of the item and the shipping cost. And they're only going to give me $30 and a couple cents. It's the shipping cost. They're not going to return the shipping cost to me, which I find really funny, but that's okay. I mean, as long as they're going to make me whole on the item sale, that's fine by me. So that is officially closed. And this is of note because I had a product get damaged from a FedEx delivery around the same time. And the final result of this is UPS, it took 2 months to get paid, a resolution, and to get a check cut for me. And I had to go through an appeal process to get that. And then using the same type of receipt that was denied with USPS, FedEx approved it, and I had the check in my account 9 days after opening the claim. So I'm not saying UPS isn't good. I'm not saying FedEx is better. What I'm saying is, in the first scenario I've ever had with this, it took FedEx 9 days to resolve the issue. It took USPS 2 months to the day to resolve the issue. So that's my experience with the claims process from those companies. Of course, if it ever happens again in the future, I will let you guys know about it and keep you fully informed. Other than that, again, this week has been a wild week to be a YouTube creator in the eBay space. With that 1 year episode taking off as good as it did, I was pretty surprised and kind of taken away that if I would have known you guys would have really, really enjoyed my 1 year anniversary video, I would have probably done my 1 year anniversary a lot sooner. Again, thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for all the comments you guys left last week. It's so positive of a community you guys are building here on this channel, and I truly, truly appreciate it. And I can't wait to share with you the money side of it, because the money side of it, of last week's episode, is really interesting. Like, I'll be honest with you, if I was to get those types of views on every week's video, which I understand my videos are not for everybody, but if I got those views every single week, it could sustain my lifestyle. Like, I wouldn't even have to sell on eBay. It could sustain my typical lifestyle. Because for those who watch the show know that I pretty much live on a $65 a week budget, and yeah, I could live on the YouTube if that every episode was viewed as a way. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for participating. School's going really good. I am taking my I'm getting my degree in graphic design with a minor in web design, and I'm taking my first web design classes, so I'm actually learning to code and build websites, which is really interesting and fascinating. It's also a big challenge. I mean, I have a little bit of experience in coding. I was a system administrator for the government when I got out of the Navy, and I built networks and systems. So a lot of it like transfers over, but it's just a really neat and it's a really challenging experience, just trying to put my knowledge that I've had about this and applying and learning new things over into the web design. So it's really cool. So maybe one day we'll have our own Phoenix Sales 85 website that I can build with this knowledge I'm gaining. Other than that, I've got nothing else this week. I hope you guys had a great week. I hope you guys have a great week to come. And remember, no matter what happens, I will see you guys next Sunday. Have a great week, everyone. I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Me and the boys are playing, and we just can't find the sound. Just a few more hours, and I'll be right home to you. Oh, Beth, I hear you calling. Oh, Beth, what can I do? Oh, Beth, what can I do? That good? That good? Oh yeah, you got your toys from Grandma, huh?